Tagoe Talk in the building.
You know already. Gang.
I'm the fakest Jamaican ever. In the building, in the yard.
You get me? Must give me that Jamaican Creole English out here. In other words, patois.
Quick taser. You don't even know what's coming.
Yeah, we're cooking. You get me? Watch this space, innit? Watch this space. Right, you know, Tagoe Talk, how we do.
Tagoe Talk, you know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is.
As usual.
Neo
I'm a charm, Neo kind, you know. I keep
it simple.
Keep it simple, and you get me.
Actually, wait, hold on, pause. He says he keeps it simple. Okay, check. Is this simple? Have you ever seen this in the market before?
Yeah.
Anyway, I keep it simple. I keep it real. It's me, I'm a Tagoe in the building, man. Come on, man.
He keeps
it simple and flavorsome. Look at the flavor. You see the colorway? You don't even know what's it called?
We call it tortoise.
There's a like tortoise. I have to say with eloquence, like tortoise.
You get me? By Tagoe Talk, we're here. We're coming back again with another installment.
Oh, we're still on social media, baby.
As usual, it's a broad topic. So obviously we have to do it justice.
Exactly.
You get me? So obviously you got Scene Tranche 1 and Tranche 2. We got something in the pipeline coming out again.
Yo, just don't free up the information, man.
My bad.
Just give it to them on the raw content, man.
Get me? Let's surprise them.
Let's surprise
Spontaneity and that.
Ooh.
Get me, so.
Come on, you don't even know the levels. Don't get me mad. But yeah, man, if you've been living on the rock, yeah, social media is there. It's here. It's right here. We're on it right now. You're watching us. You're enjoying yourself. You're smiling. You're laughing. But let's go through the positives, man. It's here. And then everything that's positive and negatives, but the positives what we want. So, bro.
Yeah, so obviously,
come on, man.
With the positives, we want to talk about how social media has a positive impact on health in general. So obviously, when social media is mentioned and when you talk about health, unfortunately, as human beings, we have an appetite for the gruesome. We have an appetite for the negative. Negativity sells.
Yeah.
When bad things are happening to other people, it is on our news. In fact, the news we watch nowadays is not news actually. They should rebrand and call it bad news.
Exactly, because there's no aspect of good news there.
That's nothing positive whatsoever.
Fukushima attack, this person
terrorist attacks and all of that kind of stuff.
Relax.
So when we're talking about social media and how it affects health and the impact it's having, we're trying to highlight the positive impact it has on health. And one of the areas it's made an improvement is peer-to-peer interaction, especially the health experience that we have on social media. And when you look at the platforms, the different platforms on social media, from the YouTubes to the Instagrams to the Snapchats to the Facebooks and Twitter, there are a lot of health-oriented pages or health-oriented handles. And these health-oriented handles obviously jumped on the veganism bandwagon, jumped on the fitness bandwagon, your yoga, and there's so many pages out there. And the reason why these pages seem to be relatable to social media users is because about 16 to 24-year-olds make up a bulk.
A huge 91% of the entire population of people, that entire age range of people that use social media. And that's where that's where you get the most views, the most influential people, because that's like I would say that transition stage where we're still young, we're still growing in it. Like we're aware of a lot more things that go on. You're
still building. You've not gone to a page where you're
not fresh.
You're still fluid, innit? You're not static, innit? When you go past a certain age, you're pretty much made up your mind on your principles. You have your principles. You know your do's and your don'ts. You know what you are. Your identity is now basically solid.
And then I feel like you're at that pinnacle of exploration where there's like, it's almost limitless, innit? Like there's nothing, when you're young in it, when you're exploring stuff, like there's that sort of restriction in it because your age, you're too young to experience a lot of things. But when you're at that 16 to 24, there's that whole broad scale of there's so much of the world that I don't know, and you can actually have that ability to go out and do it. Okay. Me, on that kind of wavelength. Anyway, I just drifted off in a whole little notion. But yeah,
Well, we're obviously talking about access to peer-to-peer health experiences. And the reason why it's a lot more relatable on social media. And when we're talking about peer-to-peer health experiences, we're talking about traditionally to gain or to interact with the 16 to 24-year-olds. And we're saying 16 to 24-year-olds. In fact, anyone over the age of 16 up to, let's say, 35 to 40. The medical services industry interacting with these people in terms of GPs, in terms of booking appointments, in terms of encouraging people to come in for their flu jabs, in terms of sexual reproductive health, in terms of making sure that STDs and making sure that people are actually going for routine checkups. Giving this information out there to the actual target audience and getting them to come into these medical centers for these checks and for these routine checks actually has been a challenge. Social media has, in some ways, bridged that gap in the sense of a lot of GP practices now, a lot of medical centers, a lot of hospitals now have apps. They also have websites that you can go to. You can do a lot of the booking of appointments.
Much more accessible and much
accessibility, that's the word, It's
made it much more exclusive because it's like, it's a thing where you can go on the apps and stuff like that, and it's like your identity is very protected rather than you have to explain. You don't know what you're about or you don't know what you're doing. Like it's able to alert people. Like people can relate to it now a lot more. Say that okay, I'm going through this, and feel like they're not the only person that's going through this or going through this difficult time. They know how to handle it thanks to a lot of people that explain it to them through the social medias, websites, and then the apps and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so yes, in some aspects, social media has bridged the gap. But what we're trying to do at the moment is the fact that when it comes to the audience actually interacting in that space, they seem to go to, they seem to relate with individuals that look like them or sound like them or have similar interests. For example, if you're going to be taking sexual advice on social media, for example, are you going to be watching someone of, say, of Dad's age, or are you going to be watching someone within your same generation?
Especially when it comes to that kind of
topics.
It's like people that are like above you or a different generation from you, like you just instantly have that instant, oh, you don't understand me, you don't know me, man, you don't know where I'm from, don't know why. Like it's more comfortable to relate to people that are in your current society, of the same age, of the same lifestyle, or the same practice as you do, or what you preach and stuff like that. But another thing that has actually made another positive of social media, shall I say, is the emotional support that is being given on social media. People go through a lot of things on social media. People go through a lot of things in life in general. But but social media has become like a platform where there's actually even like promotional things like, oh, if you're suffering with depression and stuff like that, go to this app and that app.
Oh yes, that's a lot of
which is actually helpful. They get numbers like by the day, because at first it's a bit skeptical because what people put out on social media is a bit, it's a thin line.
It can sometimes be contentious. But social media has undoubtedly created an opportunity for building communities as well. And on top of building these communities, the major positive from these communities is that emotional support that they can sometimes deliver. When we're talking about emotional support, you find out that, especially on Facebook, you can form pages and groups, and in these groups like-minded people normally congregate in these groups. And so what happens is the people that, as you said, the word is relatable, people that relate and have the same practices, the same experience, and have the same thinking as you do. So what this does is, and on a mental side, on a mental aspect, what it does is it helps people to come out of their shell, to express themselves more, to be a bit more creative, a lot more creative, to start thinking and start seeing the world as a place of opportunity instead of a place that puts a lot of stumbling blocks in your way, or if a place that challenges or puts hurdles in place.
It doesn't create that whole idea of me versus the world. It's kind of you getting to know people that are on that same wavelength with you. You're like, oh yeah, you go through that same thing as well. Oh, I go through that same thing. And that's where the community is developed. That's where you get a lot of developing communities, and it's actually a wonderful thing to see that.
It is.
A lot of people like that kind of phrase, the world's becoming smaller and smaller. That's where one of it can go off into, like it can stem from. It's like you see a lot of people now grouping together, coming together, tackling that one problem that everyone goes through within that group, within that community, and that's just a beautiful thing to go through.
So what there's groups are people that love Ferraris, as an example. People that love Mini Coopers, all the way from people that like pink trainers.
That's what people that are car lovers in general, there's a group there. People that are love of trainers, group
there. Yeah.
Like
sneakerhead, sneaker freak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and
sports head, sports freak, the F2 freestyle dribblers. Like there's so many different pages. Like there's a lot of things happening on social media. If you're looking for it, you're very likely to find it. And that's what I'm saying. So this community building, emotional support is definitely out there, especially if you're going out there with a positive outlook already. So you'll be able to, you attract positivity if you put out positive intent. Yeah. So
see, these are bars you need to relay and start again. You have to go back, start again. In fact, just say it again for them, man.
Obviously, if you're going and utilizing social media and you're utilizing them for positive intent, so you can put out that positive intent out there, then you attract positive reactions. So it's all about positivity. So that emotional support is there for you if that's exactly what you need.
And even in fact, it brings it to the next point of like a positive of social media is it helps people to find themselves. Yeah. It creates that identity. They feel like they know who they are by what they are interested in. Interest define who you are.
Freedom of expression. It's allowed a lot of people to come out of their shells and they can that self-identity, self-expression. You know, it's given. If you look at the likes of Takeshi 6ix9ine, my guy's got rainbow hair, rainbow grills. You understand? So,
gosh, why I said oh my gosh, is because I follow his lifestyle. Yeah. This is someone that when my father used to say "colo mental," I didn't even know what it meant. But when I saw it, I just said, it dawned on me. I said, this is what you call definition of colo mental.
Colo mentality.
Colo mentality. But like I said, other people say as colo mental. Some people say as, he's just expressing himself.
It's freedom of expression, mate. Self-expression. He's getting attention. He's getting money from it. He's made a name for it. I know of him. You know of him. And I'm sure a lot of people out there know of him.
If you don't know about him, if you go do your research,
exactly.
You'll be laughing 24/7.
And obviously, it's ended a bit on a downer for him, but that's another episode. Yeah. So obviously, on top of the self-identity and self-expression that social media offers, on top of that, it also gives the opportunity to make or build relationships and maintain these relationships as well. So we've talked about social media allowing people to express themselves. We've talked about social media allowing people to form online communities. We've talked about people giving emotional support. It also allows for people to build communities and also to maintain relationships as well. So
like it's especially people of my age, like a lot of, obviously, it won't be on the depths of, like, say, my father, which, like, you know, a lot of classmates he didn't know back in the day. Yeah. Like, 10, 11, 12 years later down the line, he's seen them on Facebook and say, hey, Charlie, this has been my mate, body. Say, come on, man, we don't even know about the stories, don't even go there. But,
you
like,
get me?
In relation to, like, people my age.
Tamasco days, isn't it? So for Dad being able to reconnect to people that he's not heard about for about 30 years ago. And that's what Facebook has been able to do. Obviously, for his generation, it's allowed them to reconnect with a lot of schoolmates, friends, work colleagues as well, and that they've not met in decades. So on that aspect, it allows a reconnection of people, allows them to build even new relationships as well. Because apart from knowing people in past lives, there are people that are also meeting people fresh, strangers that meet on social media. And by strangers, meeting on social media as strangers, a couple of years down the line, a couple of months down the line, by actually meeting face to face, that relationship then takes and builds on from there as well. So it definitely allows relationship building and allows, if you can maintain that relationship, allows for long-term friendships being formed as well.
Because it's like people see the interests, like, kind of, you know, relate to one another. Like, so my interest could be similar to yours on, like, if you had two different profiles, we see the interest and the relationship that goes on. It's like, oh my God, this is wonderful. And that's where they build that kind of communication online, bring it to the life. And it's actually good, like, it's brought this world together. You say, oh, I know this person, a friend of a friend. The only people I know because I know their friend. Bro, it happens way too many times.
So
Yeah, man.
So this self-identity and the self-expression, that's what we're doing now at the moment, currently, isn't it?
It's amazing now.
we're expressing ourselves.
Enjoy the life, man. Fine boys, no pimples. Still,
it's a work in progress. You're on this journey with us, you know that, you get me? You see the transition, and we're in our third stage at the moment, or our frog phase. We're going to be turning to the princess eventually, you get me? We'll sit on our...
Come collect your present. It's yours, offer it.
If you know the reference that I'm making, then obviously that will make sense, innit? But the point I'm making, obviously, social media, YouTube especially, has given us this opportunity to be sitting behind the camera with all the lighting and all the effects and all the sounding and all of that.
Come on.
You get me? And to be explaining things to you as well. And but at the moment, at the end of the day, there's a reason why we do this. On top of obviously sharing information and empowering the youth, empowering our generation and future generations, there's some sort of revenue that we're looking to generate as well on top of this.
Are we a business basically?
We have a product, we have a service we're offering. And if there's that demand for that service, then we'll be able to get that demand, you know, capitalize on that demand and build a business that we can sustain to meet that demand.
Yes, amen. I double times 2. I double it. I double everything.
Yes, so yes.
You double it today.
So on top of that, being a business, we have to obviously protect our interest. We have to be looking out of how we can get income. And they're traditional, well, I wouldn't say traditional, but when it comes to secure business transactions, I'm sure there's a lot of apps and a lot of services offered, but PayPal definitely would say is the leading service when it comes to secure transactions. And their relationship with eBay obviously has put them on a different trajectory. They are like, exactly. So PayPal is the preferred method of financial transactions when you're working in the internet space or the digital world. However, in the past 5 or 10 years, say 5 years, cryptocurrencies has been something that has come up a lot. And obviously it has its roots in blockchain. So when we mention blockchain,
break it down.
Oh, is it that time?
Is that time? Is that time? I think it's breaking down the clock.
Okay, let me give a bit of a narrative in it. You see, in some circles, especially those that sit within the economic and financial structures that we live in this world, in some circles they consider blockchain to be the messiah for the financial services industry. And when I say the messiah, I mean they actually think that in terms of security, because that has been a major, how do we offer our audience, our clients, our customers secure financial transactions that has transparency?
Don't want 419.
Exactly.
We don't want it.
That cannot be corrupted. And that is also cannot be manipulated. So in other words, what blockchain essentially is a ledger, of economic transactions that can be programmed not just for financial services or financial transactions, but anything of value. So what it does is it allows transparency from the first block. And when other computer nodes, which are the administrators, and these administrators are run by clients, these people then add to that block and it's completely transparent. And from point A of the origin of the transaction to point B of the transaction being completed.
Yeah, received, yes. I'm following, keep going. I feel the notion. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
You're making me lose my chain of thought. So basically, the point I'm making is transparent. It's not incorruptible, and it allows the fact that it cannot be manipulated as well. So a network is formed essentially, and a network of computer nodes basically forms the blockchain.
I beg. That information, you can't even process it like that.
So
hey, there's no more out of you. I beg. This was the positives of social media. And how businesses can use them in positive lights. Now, we thank you for watching this. We appreciate your audience. There's more to come, don't worry. What he said, we're going to break it down even further.
We'll break it down further. We'll break it further.
The time. We'll break it down even further. But don't forget, this is Tagoe Talk, your vlogcast of choice.
You know this already, man.
You know the levels.
So as usual, man. Subscribe. Yes. Click that bell icon.
Click that bell notification.
You get me? Check our socials. Instagram, Tagoe Talk, baby.
Come on.
Yes.
Not Instagram. Listen, the socials are coming.
Well, Get me? We're releasing. We're releasing.
We're just
We
building
give
up
them one at a time. Little drops of water make a mighty.
Let's try that again. What?
Yeah, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Tagoe Talk, you download the thing already.
Like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yes, yes.
Don't ever forget us.
And share it.